Welcome back to Niger Delta Today. Well, let's kickstart the conversation from Bayelsa, where the state government has moved to protect and conserve the forest by indefinitely closing all forest activities, including timber logging, floating and movement in the state forest. The State Commissioner for Environment, Honorable ADBN Ololo, who disclosed this on Wednesday in Yenagua, said the move is in line with the ministry's mandate to preserve the forest as contained in Section 41 of the Forestry Law of Bayelsa State 2006. Now, according to the Commissioner, no individual or persons is allowed to take out or otherwise deal with any forest produce in the state forest without the authorization of the Ministry of Environment. Any person or group of individuals caught taking out forest produce as wood without permission or authorization shall be apprehended and prosecuted. Now, before we introduce our guests, let's bring you a report by our correspondent at Chinono Temple. Well, while waiting for that particular report, I think we'll reach out to our guest who is standing by to give us more updates when it concerns the felling of trees in Bayelsa State Forest. Well, our guest today is an environmentalist in Bayelsa State, Henry Adike. Mr. Henry, you're welcome to Niger Delta Today.
Oh, welcome. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon,
Thank
sir.
you,
You're welcome.
Viewers.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
All right. Mr. Henry, the Bayelsa State government recently closed all activities related to the forest just recently. Can you give us your take on the decision by the state government?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. From the statement of the Honorable Commissioner of Environment, the word closure there ought not to have been used because in his second condition, he said those that are going to or want to embark on activities in the forest have to be registered or meet the ministry. I think what he's trying to do is to see how the normal procedure is being followed so as to manage the forest effectively, because with the current situation in Bayelsa State, the way the deforestation is taking place, if it is not controlled, it will be a disaster in the nearest future. So he's trying to see how he ensure that the policies, the laws of the land is being followed. And that is why they came up with the statement that there is a total closure of the forest. And if you want to do any business, you have to see the ministry for approval before you can do any business. I think they won't have used the word closure. They will have used a more better word so that people will not become more confused, because that word total closure. And the second standard, again, you're saying that those that are willing to do business should come and see the ministry first. I think the Honorable Commissioner was a member in the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, and they enacted this law. This law was enacted since 2006. 2006 to today is about 19 good years, and there have been no enforcement of this law. And he is now on the seat of Commissioner, Bayelsa State Minister of Environment, and he has seen the lapses, the gaps within the ministry, and he wants to ensure that the laws are being followed. And that is why they came up with those information to alert the cartel that are doing wood business, logging business in Bayelsa State, in order to protect the environment for future generation.
Okay, Mr. Henry, how then do we balance economic activities with the preservation and conservation of our forest?
Before now, you know, the forest serves different purposes to mankind, and the trees in the forest, most of them are economical trees that are being used in furniture and other things. Some are serves as fruit for the people of the Niger Delta, But at present, we don't see most of those trees again. In fact, the worst condition currently is that they are felling premature woods in the Bayelsa State. So it's actually affecting it will surely affect the economical situation of Bayelsa State currently and in future, because once these woods or these forests are being destroyed, of course our children will not have future to utilize the forest effectively, and that will surely affect them. In the present situation, we might be gaining little from what is going on. Call it maybe internal generated revenue. But in as much as the processes are not sustainable, our children will suffer it in future. And that is why the Honorable Commissioner deemed it necessary to ensure that the law is being enforced to stop the cartelism that is going on in the lumbering processes in Bayelsa State.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry. But besides the cartel that is going on in Bayelsa State, there are some communities who depend directly on the resources from this forest. This law, does it have a provision to support alternative livelihoods for these communities?
Of course, in Bayelsa State, we have a different land tenure system. Some lands are owned by the family, some lands are owned by communities, and some are government reserve areas. Yeah, the truth is that the government of Bayelsa State did not stop people from not felling the trees. You know, in a developed or civilized system, you need to harvest woods that are mature. If you have your individual woods, we have the state government have some forest guard. They will assess the wood. They will assess the wood, whether the wood is mature. If it is mature, then maybe there is a way of maybe you pay tax to the state government before harvesting the wood. The state government might not, it's not saying that there will be total closure of the district, but they want to see a process that the due process are being followed to ensure that these forests are managed effectively for sustainable use.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, Mr. Henry, on one hand, we have to make money from the forest. On the other hand, we also have to conserve the environment. As an environmentalist, how do we work around this? Maybe in terms of planting up trees as they fell those trees. How do we work around it?
Hello, come again.
I said, on one hand, we have to make money from the forest. On the other hand, we have to also preserve the forest. How do we work around it as an environmentalist? How do we work around this whole situation to ensure that there is no deforestation at the end of the day?
Of course, as I said earlier, the forest serves a lot for mankind. The forest is a home for different biodiversity. The forest is a source of economical trees for different activities. The forest is a carbon sink medium to reduce climate change effect, and also the forest serves as a source of energy. And if the state government is willing to practice a real afforestation process, then we need to also think of how we plant trees. Like if you go to the riverine communities, the mangrove have been felled for timber lumbering activities, and there is no replacement. And you know the vital importance of this mangrove to communities living in the coastal area. It prevents the ocean's surge storm that is coming to those communities. But when you harvest them and you did not replant, then you're calling for disaster in the future. So the government need to see how we can replant these trees in as much as the harvesting is taking place. The mature one have been harvested. We need to replant new ones to see how we conserve the environment, because the forest plays a critical role. It prevents soil erosion, because the root help to keep the soils together. So the forest serves a great important natural resources for humanity. So we need to ensure that both reforestation and harvesting is being practiced sustainably for future generation also to benefit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Before we let you go, sir, you talked about preserving some species that are actually about to go extinct when you talk about trees. Now, what about those that have already gone on extinction? What do you do about those particular species?
Those ones that have gone to extinction, we can still outsource it from areas which still have it. You can travel to other parts of the country or part of African country to source for those seedlings. Edo State and I think Cross River State has a more better afforestation and conservation practice. Those trees can also be sourced from such states and replant back to Bayelsa State to ensure that they did not go extinct, because it's quite unfortunate that most of the trees are actually extinct right now. Like the common cottonwood, which we are, as a young boy in those days, when it's getting to dry season, we see the flower of cottonwood spreading all over the community. For the past 20 years, I've not seen such taking place again. So which means the cottonwood trees are becoming extinct. Even the ones that are available are not matured. So there is a problem. The future generation will not know which what the service of cottonwood for humanity. So we need to see how we can ensure that those ones that are extinct are being replaced by outsourcing them from other areas and replanting them in Bayelsa State.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Henry. The key there is replanting this tree. We look forward to having you some other time on Niger Delta Today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Have a lovely weekend, sir.